part 3 of how a dark colored alien named Yakub created white people. So the Albinoids, they end up going back to the land of the Ebenoids, right? And they start causing all this trouble in the land, because mind y'all, they evil, right? So it takes the king of the Ebenoids about 6 months for him to catch on that this is Yakub's people. Like, these are the people that he created, like the evil ones. So he go to them, he confront them, he sends his soldiers, well, his soldiers does all the confronting, and then he drives them all the way across the water to the mountains and caves, and they live there for a long time. They end up like becoming like savages because they confined to like this cave, and they already crazy, they already evil, so the craziness just amplifies, and they become like wild savages, and they live like in the nude, and they only, like in the wintertime, they would wear like animal skin, and they grew hair all over their body, something like cavemans, right? So eventually they end up like just befriending like wolves and dogs, and they take them on as like, they end up valuing wolves and dogs, and they really make them like a high, like they have high rank in their families, and they become like their best friend. This is where the "a dog is a man's best friend" thing comes from. So after 2,000 years, their wickedness gets further examined by this Ebenoid man who is sent over there named Mashal. So the soldiers, they were regularly like monitoring them here and there or whatever, but Mashal ends up going over there, and he tries to basically tame them, like teach them how to be civil, and he brings them out the cage, but they end up killing Mashal, and it goes all around the world like on a rampage, and they use their divide and conquer tactics all around the world to, you know, just stir up shit and just cause all this chaos around the world. So then there's another man named Mohimdu that goes, and he goes to the Albinoids, and he tries to convince them to turn against their wicked ways. But at this point, it's like they only in like, they like 1,400 years in. So remember, Yakub was like, these people are going to, for sake of the video, these white people, they're going to rule for 6,000 years. So they still had more time like to their sentence basically, and his little attempt to try to convince them like fails, and then they still go on just divide, conquer, and oppressing the Ebenoid people. Now, there are a group of scientists that live in the middle of the earth. They are called like the wise scientists, or like 24 wise scientists. So they live in the middle of the earth, and they prophesied like Yakub's birth. They prophesied that there was going to be one who comes and basically tries to destroy the Ebenoid civilization. Now, 6,000 years later, they also predict that there would be a redeemer to the Ebenoid nation that is to come and just spread peace and just, you know, combat everything that Yakub was trying to do. This will be done with the help of a man named Yashmal. So Yashmal, he is the son of Princess Radia of the Shinyuk and Prince Afit of the Shinying, right? You remember when they married, when the two tribes married in the center of the earth to maintain the peace? Yeah, so this couple ends up having a baby, and this baby's name is Yashmal. So come to find out, Yashmal's life was predicted by the 24 wise scientists as well that live in the inner earth, and he's supposed to be like the redeemer, right? The redeemer of the Ebenoid civilization. But Yashmal, he ends up growing up the complete opposite of his cousin Yakub, because unlike Yakub, he was able to grow up in his native land, be around his people. He didn't have like no type of disconnection. He didn't have all that trauma and all that extra stuff going on. So Yashmal, he was cool. He ended up growing up as a like really gifted, of course, like I told y'all, these beings are really, really smart. He grows up like a really gifted, like prominent scholar, basically. Like he grows up a scientist as well. And one day he's playing with magnets. He's playing with magnets, I know. He discovers that electrons flowing through the magnet in the same direction are attractive, while those flowing in the opposite direction are repulsive. So he gets the idea to direct the mental flow of energy of the ebonoids all in the same direction in order to redeem them, due to his inspiration of the the electrons, the flow of the electrons, because he discovered that light energies create attraction while unlike energies repel. So by getting the ebonoids all on the same mental flow energetically, they will become prominent, righteous. They will be able to establish and maintain peace, and basically take their peace back from those who have created evil on the surface of the earth. So around this time, Yashmal is like 9 years old. So he goes and he tells his papa, King Filquar, like of his plan. Like, Papa, I want to create a civilization of people that are going to serve as redeemers for the ebonoid peoples, and these people are going to they're going to create supreme balance within the land, and they're going to be powerful and righteous. So Yashmal goes on to finish advanced collegiate courses and advanced universal science courses, like all the sciences basically of the world, by age 12. And then he goes to the 24 scientists that that live, like the prophets, you can say, I guess, or whatever. I don't want to say prophets, but he goes to the 24, like the wise scientists of the inner earth, and he tells them about his plans to go to earth, to go to the surface to redeem the ebonoid people and basically undo everything Yaqub has done. So around age 18, Yashmal, he finally goes to the surface and he develops the book of Teachology, basically. So the book of Teachology was designed in a question and answer type format in order to engage the listeners and get them to get their mental energies flowing in the same direction. Sorry y'all, this hair is bothering me. And this method of teaching would create unity and harmony amongst kindred, or amongst people that share the same heritage, basically. Yashmal, his teaching ends up becoming so strong and so powerful that he develops millions of followers for his teachings, and everybody comes and they gather around him and stuff like that. But he only chooses 144,000 people, ebonoid people, to execute his plans, and these ebonoid people that he chooses are called the chosen ones. And I'm gonna come back for the next part to tell y'all the rest of how Yashmal ends up carrying out his plan to redeem the ebonoid people.